I guess, that particular arena. If you're going to be someone who's sponsoring people, posture makes all the difference in that. And basically, it's, you know, believe in what you're doing. In order to have belief in what you're doing, and you're going to have to be plugging into the material, you're going to have to learn the material, you're going to have to applying the material to your own life. And as you gain that belief, and what things like this call does in particular, hold on just a second, I'm getting a lot of feedback here. See. Trying to see if I can mute
Muted yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Gonna have to deal with a little bit of feedback now. People that don't have their lines muted, if you could mute your lines, make it a lot easier. Yeah, you'll see it in the lower left-hand corner of the Zoom screen. If you have a screen up, literally look in the lower left-hand, it'll say mute. Click on that button and it'll mute you out. We'll get rid of some of this feedback so everyone can get the most out of this. Okay, perfect. Let me just kind of start at the beginning. Posture with prospects here, talking about Orrin Woodward's disc, LT257. And in that disc, I'll just share a couple of my takeaways first, and then we definitely want to hear what you guys thought of the disc. And one of the things that came up really early in the disc actually was the secret to this business, as Orrin says, is to simply plug in enough. And the reason he brings that up is because plugging into the information and plugging into events, going to events, attending calls like this, all these things are going to be things that are going to raise your belief level. And when your belief level raises, that's just going to come across in everyone that you talk to, that you believe what you're doing, you're excited about what you're doing, you have something exciting to share with people, and they're going to see and hear that belief from you, which is then, if you go to listening to Chris Brady in the checkpoint race, he talks about transferring the feeling. Well, posture is something that you need in order to transfer that feeling. You have to have that feeling yourself. You have to have that belief. And that is what actually will help people sponsor more so than almost anything else, more than the information. People want to get excited about something that other people are excited about. That's kind of just a quick take that I took from the very beginning. And the other thing that I'll share before I turn it over to the group actually is the part where Orrin's talking about basically not having enough money, because that's an objection that we all run into at different times, like, oh, I don't have time to start. Well, as Orrin mentioned, like, well, that's exactly why you need to do something different. If you've been broke for the last 5 years or the last 10 years, and you're doing the same things now as you did when you were doing as you have been those last 10 years, you can't expect anything different at all. So the reason that you don't have enough money is because you're not looking outside the box to create something that creates more money for yourself. So that and the time thing, those are synonymous. If you don't have enough time, then you need to do something in your life that's going to create more time for you. Otherwise, you're just banging your head against the wall, or as Einstein said, basically, that's insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different. So while there were 100 takeaways from this less than 1 hour audio, I'll just share those two. Those two really stood out to me. And then, like I said early on, this is going to be a discussion. What we want to do is we want to go through the information with people, and we'll listen to one CD a week, and then we'll bring them on here to discuss it with everyone, so that we get other people's perspectives, so that we get to look through other people's lenses as they listen to these audios. So that's what I want to turn it over to you guys now. If you want to just raise your hand, if you got a couple things that you want to share, I just want to make this an open forum, and we can all learn as a group from each other, and that's I think this group will be great at. So I'll kind of let me click through some screens here. Who's got their hands up? I got okay, perfect. We've got is that Colin raising his hand while he's driving? Let's see if I. Okay, go ahead, Colin. Unmute yourself. I can't unmute you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't want to raise my hand, but yeah, I tell you what a great CD, and I really I want to thank Josh for putting this together, John for putting these things together. But this is a really cool concept, because I've gotten the habit of listening to CDs, And a lot of things, a lot of times, like reading too, I'll read kind of almost confirm what I already know and listen to what I already know. But I dove in because I felt like almost to dive into this. And I'm just going to ask you, I don't know if everyone's got their microphones muted. I'm hearing feedback still. But I dove into this like a homework assignment to like dive into it, to listen to what I haven't heard or what I don't know. And it's a simple thing. It's the dream. I can't tell you how many times I've got the I can't afford it excuse. And then, you know, you see in my their furniture, cars, or even a house, and or whatever, they're posted on Facebook. Well, like, okay, so you really can afford it. And then the I don't have time, like, it just, and then well, I run across a lot of that in different things that I've done, not just this. And it all comes back to where I'm failing. This really helped me to see a lot of things where I'm failing and getting that dream out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because, and he said that on the scene that, or maybe they don't have the dream. The dream's not big enough. Well, okay. So let's try to inspire them. Okay, so if you don't have a dream, do you have anyone in your family or any close friends that you can help get their dream? I mean, sometimes, you know, it's a matter of trying to see if they're humble enough and willing enough to kind of maybe put themselves aside to work for someone else's dream or whatever. But the whole I can't afford it, that was crazy. Like exactly Orange said, that's why I'm here. So it's like it made me think of what came first, the chicken or the egg, and he was making the farmer analogy. Well, I don't have corn. Well, exactly, you got to pay for it. So what came first, the farmer or the farmer? What came first, the millionaire or the million? So I mean, if you look at that principle, and that's exactly why we're here, and that can help us. Don't clap while you're driving, by the way. That can help us. Kind of like literally that is why we're here. Don't have money, that's why I'm here. Don't have time, that's why I'm here. Don't have a great relationship with their spouse, that's why we're here. Whatever it is that they can't do or don't have time to do or they want in a life, that's why we're here. And the funny thing, real quick, before I go, is I was trying to rewind the farmer part, and I forgot.
No, we're losing you a little there, Colin. I don't know what happened, but maybe you're driving, but we lost you there for a second.
No. Can you hear me now?
I can now.
All right. It's on the phone through Bluetooth, and I was trying to rewind. It wasn't working. That's all. That's all. I take it from there. So.
Yeah, appreciate you sharing that, Colin. I think we've got the line figured out here where we can have everyone basically muted now that you got that down until people are ready to share. I appreciate you sharing there, Colin. We got John that's raising his hand now, so let me go ahead and click over to him. Let's see. John?
You got me?
How you doing this morning, buddy?
Awesome. Fantastic. Hey, I just want to say, you know, this is a great turnout, but and I like how I see a lot of people here, and I've noticed a couple of people new, so that's just fantastic. So here's what I got from the CD. You know, the very first part, Oren is talking about overcoming objections, and to me, that was a big struggle, and it still is a struggle for me today as I go out and show the plan. But, you know, more and more, I'm learning that for me to overcome those objections is I got to be able to believe in my dream and my goals, and then be able to transfer that to somebody and ask them, you know, is there maybe not, yeah, this isn't for me, or what are you talking about? Felmar and Sandra Montenegro were up here last weekend, and Jay and a couple of us from up here got to see them and listen to their story. And he really tapped into the, you know, getting their dream, you know, what's your why? And really, I think as I utilize that technique, I can get people to overcome some of the objections. Matter of fact, yesterday we were talking with my neighbor, and I'm going to get him on Track and Save, because we started talking about his dream, and he's a penny pincher, and I started showing him what he could save in his money. So and he was a big, you know, he didn't want anything to do with this like a year ago when I showed it to him, And then I told him that he bought 4 pizzas the other day. And I said, 2 of those could have been free. And he's like, what? And so we got into that conversation of what the track can say. So it really is about, for me, is overcoming those objections, is really starting to tap into those folks' dreams and get them to understand that, they can overcome a lot, but what is it today, going to change their future for tomorrow. So that's all I had to say. I really liked the CD, and it took me a while. I couldn't listen to it on my phone. I had to pull it up on my computer. So some people might have had that problem, but I think what Josh has got set up, I really encourage everybody to tie into those lines and listen to these CDs. If you don't have them, this is a great way to listen to them and get some exposure. So nice job, Josh.
Appreciate that, John. What we'll be doing is we'll leave those links open for just the week that we're covering that particular call. It is important to have these tools handy for yourself, because not only are you going to learn from them, but you're also getting from a conversation like this and getting ready for it, but you're also going to be able then to share that CD easily with someone else. Just hand it off. Keep track of your own tools, because like Oren mentions, actually, I don't know how many discs, you can't imagine how many discs Oren's lost out to the middle of La La Land that never came back. But at the same time, like you said, it worked out pretty well for him. So anybody else have a couple takeaways they'd like to share? We got Jay over here. Let me unmute. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Jay.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, I listened to it twice, mainly because I listened to it early in the week, and then this morning I'm like, God, what was that about again? That's why we listened to them more than once. And anyway, the biggest takeaway reminded me of, I have to go back and remember that not everybody wants to get in, and that's okay. And the fact that it's okay, you have to let them know that right up front. However, if you really truly want something, asking them is like, if you really want this to happen, would you like for us to try and figure out a way that is possible, and whether it's money or time or something like that, and then that way you're on their side trying to help them figure out how to get it, to be able to actually do that. And is this just really, you don't tell them that it's an excuse, but is this really a reason, or is it something that you want to be able to work out, or is it you just don't want to do it? And feel free, and I always tell them, feel free to tell me that it's okay, that you don't want to. I have no problem with that. And but if it's a legitimate reason, then maybe we can work, maybe we can help you out. And that was probably one of the biggest takeaways I've done, is just to remind them that, yes, it is okay that if they don't want to, just tell me right up front.
Yeah, I really like that, Jay, because it even mentions, Oren says in there just really simply, I'd much rather get a sincere no than a false yes, because a false yes keeps us, moving down that road, and we think they're interested, but they're not really. They're just trying to appease us, and we're spending our time, and they're spending their time, and now they start avoiding our calls, and it just is a downward spiral. So having that out on the table, just letting people know, it actually brings them closer to wanting to participate, because it's almost like something that you've taken away from them almost, which makes them want to participate even more.
Exactly. And then also, if you already know them, it helps you remain friends and not them to avoid you from now on.
Yeah, perfect. And I've got a couple hands up here. Dina's had her hand up here for a little while, and then I'll get to Mike and Shauna. I know Dina's driving here. I don't know if she can unmute herself if she wants me to do it.
I'm actually not driving, thank goodness.
Okay.
I'm in the back seat of the car. So, I wanted to share, if you guys have listened to or participated in the Power Sales University modules, Module 1 has an amazing requirement or assignment to write down every single thing that you get out of the company, your belief, and you write, he suggests 20. When you're writing down 20 things that you believe the company has and what the company will offer you, and then the benefits for customers and people want to build the business, it really empowers you to start realizing that when you go talk to people about their beliefs, you are certain. I mean, the whole process in module 1 is if you're more certain than other people, they'll buy you. And if you're less certain, they won't buy you. And to me, that first part that Oren talks about is your belief that you have the answer for their lack of time, and you have the answer for them being broke. And I just loved that part when he says, well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to give you back your time. Not everybody's disciplined enough or wants to go after their dreams, but the idea that we personally, if we believe with a certainty that what we have is the bomb, it's the all end all be all, then we absolutely can share that with a certainty and give that to people so that they believe in us, and that as leaders, if we offer them hope and we quit, then we've let them down as well as us. And so it's really, staying plugged in, learning the skills, working on our mindset, and then offering something that
Lost you there for a second, Dina. I don't know if you're still there. You're in freeze frame right now.
I'm in freeze frame. I mean,
No, I'll let you finish that thought here in a second, Dina. When you get in a little better spot, I know you're in the car. Let me go ahead and open up Mike and Shauna.
Happy birthday.
How are you guys doing, Mike, Shauna?
Awesome. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
Pretty Mark. Woo!
Working on it.
And I want to say hi to Laura in Costa Rica right now.
Nice.
Real fun. Shauna wanted to say something real quick. I know it's you. You was saying about the Power Sales University. And that's a tool another tool we have in our system we use, which is awesome. So
I just wanted to say that I think that when we're thinking about the objections that come up with our prospects, I think we also need to kind of turn that back on ourselves. For some of us, I think that that's something that I throw into my own mind sometimes is, well, we just can't afford to do that this month. We can't afford to be on the system this month. We can't afford to go PVO this month. We can't afford, or, other objections. We just don't have time to do it right now. We just got too much going on. And I think that sometimes those objections, we can actually turn back on ourselves and say, hey, if we're getting objections from prospects, maybe we need to look internally. Maybe those are things that we talk about. If we haven't talked with them about it yet, then we're probably, just in conversation. Oh, I don't have any time for anything, and then we go and give them a call and show them the plan, and they're like, well, we don't have any time. And you're like, well, why don't you have time? How do you not have time? Well, you just told them 2 days ago that you didn't have any time for anything. So, I think we really need to look internally and overcome all of those objections ourselves before we can even expect that other people overcome those objections and be able to help them overcome those objections. Because if we don't, I think it shows when we're out there, we're talking to people, and we get in front of them and, oh yeah, how are you this week? Oh yeah, I've had such a busy week. And then they say, well, I don't have enough time. And you go, well, how can you not have enough time? And so then they look back at you like, well, didn't you just say that you were really busy this week? So I think that we really need to watch the things that we say, and internally make sure that we believe those things, make sure that we are tackling those own objectives in our own minds before we go out and we show the plan to somebody else.
I love that, Shauna. You're so right on with that. That goes along exactly with posture. You can't have posture about what you're doing, about what you're talking about, if you don't have the belief in what you're doing. And that just, when you talk to somebody and you feel that from them, it's a vibe that you get almost. It's as much as you want or don't want something else to be to feel, if that's the way that you feel, it's all about transferring that emotion. So we have to be careful what energy we're transferring to the people that we're talking about, and where our belief is. And And I definitely appreciate you guys. Appreciate you plugging into this call and sharing that. It's wonderful. And do you have something else there, Mike? Sorry I cut you off there.
And we don't have time. We tell them, and we go home and watch 3 hours of television. But,
Isn't that the truth? But and I know like we did leave Dina there as soon as she got lost. You want to pop back in, Dina? You got your thoughts together?
Now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, up anyway.
No, that's just not going to work. Sorry, Dina. I know you have a wealth of information. She'll definitely have a lot of perspective to share with you next week. She'll actually be emceeing the call next week, so it may not work in the car wherever you're at, somewhere in the mountains, Los Angeles or something. But anyway, who else wants to raise their hand that hasn't been able to speak yet? Okay, Liz, perfect. Go ahead, and if you want to unmute yourself, or I can do it if you've got it. Perfect. Yep, go ahead, Liz.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say, just because I am fairly new myself. But I thought it was a great CD to listen to several times. And I just wrote down like a couple of pages of notes, and a couple of things that I wrote down was when he was talking about the discipline. It said, I'm either going to accept the discipline of chasing my dream or accept the discipline of somebody else's dream, which is so true. I mean, either you're going to go to your day-to-day job of, someone else's dream and work for them and never get out of that, or you're going to chase your own dream and build your own life with your own choices. And I thought that was a really cool thought to just like keep playing in your head over and over again. This is we're doing this for our own dreams. Like, my dream is different from everyone else's dream. So, just to keep playing that in your head to make that so vivid that is a reminder of why exactly we are doing this. And then the other thing that I wrote down in big, huge letters, and I put a star next to it, is I'm afraid of doing things wrong. So I had to write down, if I'm still asking the how to, then I'm not dreaming big enough. Because the actual how to is learn by going into the living rooms and doing it wrong. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me. So, just being able to get over the fear, and by learning and doing it and just continuing to do it. And then by continuing to do it, you will naturally get better. So that was the biggest that I had.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic, Liz. It's so right. I think a lot of times we end up in planning mode too much almost. If we're always planning to go talk to somebody, then we're not actually talking to people. And really it's the trial by fire type of business to some degree. You need to be out there talking to people, and you need to understand that the PDCA process that's talked about all the time is all about doing and then checking and then adjusting. So you definitely have to have those pieces in there, and you just get better with the more people you talk to, the more presentations you do, and it just it keeps that energy moving in the right direction, and you really can't get anywhere without actually learning by experience. And one point to that, Liz, too, we have a lot of leaders on this team. If there's anything that you do need help with, you ever want to do a three-way call, something like that, hear other people present first and help you bring people onto the team. We definitely have people on the team that are more than willing to help you out with that part as you get more acquainted with it. So feel free to message me. We're all glad to help you out.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Anyone else?
Hey, Josh, I
You're
think
talking while you're muted.
I appreciate that. I've been talking for like a minute. Okay, yeah, saw that. I muted myself out so I wouldn't talk over Liz. Yeah, you're welcome, Liz. There's going to be some PDCA processes in here. I'm going to mess up a couple things too. So we can all be on the same page with that. And but yeah, like you were talking, this PDCA, we will glad to help you out with some calls if you like. We're a team here all about learning. I'm learning how to use Zoom. People have to tell me where the little speaker button is. I think we've got it all down now. But a couple things that I did take away, kind of, if no one else, does anyone else have anything else that they'd like to share? Oh, we got Russ up in the corner. Perfect. Let me open you up here, Russ. Or if you've got it, you've got it. Go ahead, Russ. Can't hear you yet, Russ. I'm not sure why. Looks like you're unmuted, so.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we got you.
Cool.
Perfect. Go ahead.
I'd like to tap off a little bit of what Liz said about, you're either working for your boss's dreams or your dreams, and we should be working on our dreams. Not only should we be working on our dreams, but our downline's dreams. I think that's what's great about this business. In doing that, we get ours. So that's about it, though.
No, that's exactly right.
I'd like to take a shout out to Kevin too from Africa, who Liz has on here. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Didn't realize that's fantastic. Welcome. Welcome to the call. Appreciate you making the time. And yeah, great points there, Russ. I mean, we are all in this together. We're here to help out, build each other's dreams, learn what the people's dreams are that are on your team, and the new prospects. It's the people you're talking to. You have to get to the point where you've gotten to know them enough that they're willing to share their dreams with you. There's a trust factor there. Speed of trust. It's and building that rapport with people and getting to that point where they are willing to share what it is that they want out of this life. And it's only when we know where they want to get to that we can give them a plan to help them get there. So that's fantastic. Anybody else? We're already coming up on the end of the half hour. Oh, Colin raised his hand. Gotcha. Let me find you here, Colin. So I think you actually are driving. So you've got it already done. Perfect. Go ahead, man.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to welcome Kevin from Africa too. That's fired up. This is such a great turnout here, and it's just Josh and John put together the list of people that might have dropped on, or maybe their sponsor dropped off, or whatever. So kudos to you guys for putting that together. And just want to encourage everyone in their downline, maybe pick one or two people from your downline that is not plugged in so much anymore. Maybe just add them on Facebook, send a hi or whatever. But I just, one last thing is for me is I want to really give Liz kudos, because she keeps telling us she doesn't like to talk, and she's shy, but she did a phenomenal job speaking in front of the group behind stage at the major. She spoke up here with some really great points. And I really like the fact what she pointed out about getting over our fears and just going out, and if we're doing it wrong, at least we're doing it. And even Orrin even touches on that on the CD. He's like, just get out there. Like, numbers have shown, statistics show that we sponsor more people if we're actually showing the plan. And regardless, and he also said, we're selling something. We're either selling our belief or they're selling their disbelief. And we know this works. Okay, we know this works. We see people, you can't pack stadiums around the country with tens of thousands of people if it doesn't work. And you see people shooting up and hit new levels. We know it works. Sometimes there may be a little self-talk saying it might not work for us, but somebody we share this with, it will work for them. So even if we think for a second, and just give up talk, but even if we think for a second that it might not work for us, we know it will, because all we have to do is share with somebody that they know it will work for them right off the bat. So just going back out there, exposing information, opportunity, and getting over our fears, and going out and, like Orrin says, actually show the plans, and we will find the people that are praying fervently for this information to come into their lives, or for somebody to bring this information into their lives, even if it's just for the relationship, the friendship, the community, or for the business itself. So many aspects of what we do that people are literally praying for. So get out there and share this. So I'm done talking. I talked too much. Sorry, guys.
Definitely appreciate your thoughts there, Colin. And this has been a great call. This is something new that we kind of just picked up on, and the leaders kind of got together and wanted to put something together where we're sharing life material and talking through life material, and basically, you know, if we're continuing to plug into this stuff weekly, and we're all sharing so many ideas, all coming from the same spot, because you could dig down into one of these discs and talk for hours on the different points, but hearing everyone's different perspective on things, I think, is an enlightening experience, and it's something that you know, sometimes you don't even know which questions to ask, but other people may end up bringing that up in a group format, and it may spur another idea, which is always fantastic. And we have come up on the time for this, and but time for me, I guess I don't feel like it's as important as making sure that everyone's been able to share what they want to share. Anyone else have anything else that they want to add some input here before we close up? Okay, excellent. Well, then the last thing I'll share with you is something that I highlighted towards that was also out of the audio. And this one, it was something that just was a very just dead-on hit for a great point that Oren made, I thought. He's talking about in the part where he's talking about not having enough money. He says, you never lack money, you just lack an idea. And that's the thing. We don't, like, people can always find a way. He brings up that trip, like, or that example, like, if you had a rich uncle that passed away in a different country, but you just had to find the money for a plane ticket to get over there, and then you'd have that $1 million to fly home with. How many people that didn't have the money originally would find a way to get the $800 or $1,000 to get over and collect that inheritance? I mean, people would find a way, and it's the same way with this business. Again, we're not lacking money, we're just lacking an idea, and this is an idea that can change lives. We're seeing it happen, like Colin says, we're seeing it happen for tens of thousands of people at convention. I mean, it's definitely something that has been proven. You know, Oren's even showing up in textbooks now for community building. And so you never lack the money, you just lack an idea. And if we didn't change the problem, like with the way that someone else may be thinking of it, we didn't change the problem. We just need to help them get a bigger reason to come up with a better idea. And that just comes together with that. We just need to help people find their why to help them come up with a better idea, because they will dig for it if they're hungry enough. So that's all I've got for today. If no one else, we've got Shauna, one last closing thought here. Go ahead.
All right, it's time, everybody. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dr. Josh Wickman. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate all you guys. Definitely looking forward to continuing this. Next week, what we'll be doing is it'll actually be LT51, which is, let's see, what was that one called? It's Create a Positive Passion. It's an old school disc. Dr. Dina will be presenting it and kind of facilitating that process, and I'm looking forward to that because I also love that one. I know it's one of her favorites, so we'll get the link out to you guys to make sure that everyone has a chance. You may have very well owned this disc. If you don't, I highly recommend you do. It's definitely a core piece of this business. So have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and keep plugged in. Stay fired up. Take care, guys.